Hey everyone, my name is Gavin. I'm here with Jessica Powers, and today we're going to be covering travel trips. And I love that we got this topic because early on in my career, I did some travel trips, and it was out of necessity because we didn't have any leads where I was. And so I flew halfway across the country and had some incredible success in doing so. And so nowadays, a travel trip, what is a travel trip? A travel trip is basically, a flight, anywhere from 1 to 3 hours from your residence, or a drive of 6 hours plus, where you get out of town. You have your preset appointments there. It gives you the ability to focus without distractions. You can eliminate I need to think about it because you're not coming back tomorrow. And they're so incredibly profitable. We see, all these posts for people, traveling to anywhere from, Hawaii to New Mexico, Missouri, and it doesn't matter where, in the CRM, we have the heat map. So now it literally shows you where the leads are. And so a lot of people are filling their schedules in with these periodic travel trips. And so, and making a crazy amount of money in a short period of time. And Jessica's had some very successful trips. And so, why don't you walk us through how you set up? Because it's very important. If you're going to take the time to take time away from your family, to get on a plane, to drive 6+ hours someplace, you want to make sure that you're really set up for success. And like I said, Jessica's done a great job in doing that. So Jessica, why don't you walk us through how you approach a travel trip, how you set yourself up, and some of the things you did to ensure your success along the way.
Perfect, absolutely. Well, I will say I love travel trips. In the beginning, I was a little nervous to do them because it was something that was outside of my comfort zone. But I've made it my mission here is to always do stuff that was outside of my comfort zone. What I can say is I've done a few of them. I think the most that I did in a weekend was a little under 30,000. The other one was about 20, and the other one was about 15,000.
But just we go through that so fast.
Yes.
So you made $30,000 in your first travel trip.
Yes.
And how many days were you away for that one?
I was gone for 3 days.
So 3 days and 30,000. And the second one
was I think it was about 15,000. Again, 3 days. And then my one after that I did was 20,000, again, 3 days. So the way that I'll set this up, and I appreciate you slowing it down, because I think that that's kind of the fun thing, but sometimes we forget, is to slow down and to actually realize.
Like where else can you make $30,000 in 3 days? Yeah, I just don't know where else you can. And so it's crazy that we have that ability, but sorry to interrupt, go ahead.
That's okay. So if I'm going to set up my travel trip, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to find an area, like through the heat map, like John mentioned on our CRM, and I'm going to start collecting leads. I'm going to be very intentional about my travel trips. I'm going to plan a couple weeks in advance. I'm going to start collecting, especially when we've been having the coupon codes, et cetera, that have been going through. I'm going to nab up any lead that I can get in that area. I usually will drive 4 or 5 hours from my home. I'll purchase my leads, like I said, collecting them up. And for 2 days before I drive and go on my trip, I'm dialing. So I do 2 full days of dials.
Okay.
When I was going on my travel trip, my drop dead minimum to even go on my travel trip is 30 appointments. If I don't have 35, I feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I book my appointments, if they're mortgage protection or internet, I book them every hour or 45 minutes. If they're final expense, I'll book them about every 30 minutes. When I'm tying them down, I'm going to be very, very, very good about telling them, please allow a window of flexibility. I'm helping a lot of families. When I'm booking my appointments, if I'm from a different area code, I'm going to use a burner app to match my same area code.
And just explain a burner app and how that works. So some people are probably not familiar with that term.
Absolutely. So on my phone, I'll go through, say if I've got an Apple, I'll go through the Apple Store, or Android will be the Play Store. You can just type in burner app. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're free, sometimes you pay a couple dollars. It gives you a phone number. You can do a phone number that'll actually go through your phone, and it'll create a cell phone number for me.
So when the caller ID pops up,
exactly.
the lead or the potential client sees a local area code.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Because then it's more, people are more inclined to answer the phone if they know it's a local number,
Yep.
right? Especially nowadays, people are really inundated with phone calls, telemarketers, etc. So if I'm calling them and I'm telling them that I'm a local agent here for Skagit County and I'm calling from a really crazy area code, well, they're gonna question that.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll book up my appointments for 2 days. Like I said, 30 to 35 appointments. I don't book my hotel even until I'm driving there, to be honest, because I want to make sure that I am completely committed to this trip.
Yeah.
When I go, I'm intentional. There's no distractions, right? I pack food in my car. I'm not there to hang out. I'm not there to relax. I'm there to get indoors and help families, right? I'm not coming back. I don't do second visits, right? So it makes you a lot more bold in the home. To the point where I sat down, to give you an example real quick, is I sat down with a gentleman. I asked him why he didn't have any life insurance in the beginning.
Yeah.
He told me it's because, he's a tightwad. So at the very end, I go, with all due respect, John, you told me you don't have life insurance because you're a tightwad. I think it's now time to change that. Right? Because I wasn't going to take that. I'm going to think about it. Right? So being intentional with that, I always leave. So I'll run for 3 days. I have at least 10 appointments booked for each of those days that I'm there. Yeah. So if I drive down on a Thursday, I'll have a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that I'll have my three days of 30 appointments. I like to do the weekends because people are more available. Yep. So I want to run when people are more relaxed, right? I want to work when everybody else is happy.
Yes.
Then I leave my Monday. I don't come home until the evening because I know over the course of my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that people are going to have to have rescheduled on me, etc. So I can now move those people to my Monday. Yeah. So then I'm being more intentional with my time. I always bring my leads with me. So that way, if I have some time that maybe somebody fell off, etc., I can door knock, I can still dial. Whatever I'm doing is always income producing activity. It's not to go to the mall that's there by, I'm there to work, right? And then I'm going to make sure that I'm, if somebody asks you, just I want to give one tip. So if somebody asks you, oh, do you live here? If you sometimes feel uncomfortable with that, I will say something along the line of, I'm helping out in the area, or I'm moving here. Do you like it here? I was thinking about the town over, which one's better, things like that. Yeah. It can help to kind of eliminate that.
Yep, absolutely.
I know that that's something that can be uncomfortable for people, but again, this is an investment in yourself. This is a way where you can get big results really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And in the travel trips, we don't do enough of them now because we're so comfortable because we can order, Facebook leads within a 25-mile radius of our home. And too many people are reactive where they just wait for new leads to come in and then buy those. But when we've got the heat map that shows there's 257 instant internet leads in a city not too far from you, you can go ahead and buy those and travel out there. But some of the things that you touched on are when you're away, there's something about when you're away and traveling that you're hyper focused on what you're doing. Okay? Because the only place to go back to is your hotel room, which you don't want to sit around and do that all day. So you book those appointments back to back to back. You stack them in there. I've done enough trips where, when people did say they want to think about it, I let them know I'm hopping on a plane tomorrow and I'm not coming back. So there is no time to think about it. And I've actually written a lot of insurance that way because it takes that off the table of them saying, why don't you give me a call in 3 days? Well, in 3 days, I'll be back in Washington. I won't be here, and so it builds a sense of urgency with some people there as well too. The other thing is that when you're doing these trips, you're so focused, you stack your appointments back to back, you run a lot more, but also because there's an abundance of leads there, that means it's a great place to hire as well too. And so what a lot of people are doing is you buy all the leads you possibly can. You don't buy just the right amount. You buy more leads than you possibly think you can use because you never can have enough. You set as many appointments as you can, and then you place ads in that area because it's already proven to produce an abundance of leads. We have, if there's leads available and we're doing a travel trip there, that means we don't have an agent there that's actually running those. And so it's a great place to, hand your leads off to. If you have, do some interviews, hire some folks afterwards. And, not only do they have the leads that they're producing, but you can pass the leads off that you have, or maybe some people that you had to follow up with that couldn't meet with you on those given appointments, and then pass those off to a new agent that comes on board as well too. And so the travel trips that people are doing now, if you see the numbers that people are putting up, it's 3 days of hard work, but it's $15, $20, $30,000 into your bank account. And I don't know of another industry that you can do that in. You can just dial it up and go someplace for 3 days and make more money than most people make in a full month. And so they're extremely profitable. And so, Jessica and I are here to say that we've both had great success doing them. And as long as you set them up, the way Jessica says you do, dialing a couple days in advance, guaranteeing that you have at least 30 appointments set for 3 days or 10 per day when you're going there, and you work with that sense of urgency, I think you'll have great success as well too. So travel trips are a great way to, if you have a little bit of little white space in your calendar and you want to fill it up, getting out of town one way or the other is a great way to be profitable. Thank you.